Hi there, and welcome to the Health Bites section on feeding your older infant. At 6 months old, your baby is probably about ready to start solid foods. How can you tell if she's ready? What foods should you introduce first, second, and so on? You'll learn all that and more in this video.
So, what seems to be the problem, ma'am?
Well, my baby Jones just turned 6 months old. About 2 weeks ago, I tried giving him solid foods for the first time, and it didn't go so well. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what foods to give him.
What's your name?
Daisy. Daisy Parker.
Well, Miss Parker, I'm going to need to ask you a few questions to determine whether or not your son is, in fact, ready to begin solids. First, can your son sit upright with your support? And does he have good head and neck control? These things are important so that your son doesn't choke when you're feeding him solid foods.
Yes, Mr. Freeman.
Does he show an interest in food? When you offer him food of any kind, I mean, does he lean in and open his mouth, for instance?
Yes, Mr. Freeman.
Have you noticed any tongue movement, up and down motions? That up and down control is necessary for eating and moving food around in the mouth.
Yes, Mr. Freeman, I think I've seen that.
Daisy, I'm going to make a phone call, just to double check a few things. Niles Greenfield, please. Thank you. This will only take it. Niles. Elvis Freeman. I've got a young woman here, and we're trying to determine... Miss Daisy Parker. Yeah. We're trying to figure out if her son is ready to begin solid foods. Yeah. I asked her that. She said yes. Was that important? Hold on, let me ask. You do know that breastfeeding is still your son's main source of nutrition?
Yes.
That you should continue to breastfeed him?
Of course, Mr. Freeman.
You know that?
Yes.
She knows. Okay. Right. Will do. Thanks.
Well, who was that?
An old chum. Niles Greenfield. He's a healthcare professional in the city. Daisy, always talk to your healthcare professional before starting these big steps like solid foods, okay?
Okay, yes. Well, what did he say?
He thinks you're ready to try again. Your answers to my questions indicate that young Jones is probably ready to start solid foods. Niles recommends, and ma'am, I agree, give it a shot. Try again. You should have better luck now that you've waited a couple weeks. If there's still some issues, you can always just wait a few more days. The time when each infant starts solid foods is different, because each infant is different.
Okay, thank you.
And one more thing. Don't force Jones to eat. Kids his age know when they've had enough. He'll let you know when he's full. I guess we're done here.
Well, not exactly, Mr. Freeman. You see, the real reason I came here today is, well, this morning, I found this. Someone slid it under my apartment door in the middle of the night. It looks like some sort of riddle.
Introducing new foods in order on time, revealed unto you should you follow this rhyme. The clues all laid out, ready to know. The solid served first, second, and so. Take great care to solve this, great care indeed, for the order of new foods is just what you need. Jones will be hungry. It's now time to begin. The answer is contained in a cold, endless den.
Any idea of what that could mean?
I have a hunch. Seems to me this first line, introducing new foods in order on time, means that this is about what new foods and when and in what order to introduce those new foods to young Jones. It's been a while since I've dealt with something like this. Guess we'll just have to solve this one together.
I don't even know where to begin.
We begin at the end. The answer is contained in a cold, endless den.
You don't think they mean an actual den? Like a cave?
That's it. I've got it. There's a cave in the town of Frio. Frio means cold in Spanish, you know. There's a set of caverns there, something in the name about being unending or endless. That's got to be it.
What do we do?
We go there, now.
Mr. Freeman, look!
Daisy, wait!
Should I open it?
Go ahead.
Well done, my friends. You've made it this far. Some solids pureed, others found in a jar. A series of questions. When you figure them out, at the top of your lungs, the answers you'll shout. Look on the inside. There you'll find 3, 100%, and the order you'll see.
Right here, Daisy. 3 questions. Answer each of these questions correctly, 100% it says, and shout the answer, and the order that you should introduce the new foods to baby Jones will be revealed. Somehow.
The text is so small. I can't read it.
Here, let's try this. Buzz, buzz is the sound of a bee. What should you do? Should you give Jones honey?
I know this. I shouldn't give Jones honey until he's at least a year old, because he could get, what is it called?
Infant botulism.
Right, botulism, that's it. And that could kill him. Babies shouldn't have eggs, cow's milk, peanut butter, peanuts, or really any nuts until much later, because they could cause allergic reactions.
I think you've got it. Go ahead. Shout it out.
No! What's next?
We read the next question. You may think this riddle is slightly bizarre, but I have to know, feed Jones from the jar? So should you feed Jones directly from the baby food jar?
I'm trying to remember what I learned about this. If you feed directly from the jar, bacteria from the baby's mouth can grow inside the jar. I remember I'm supposed to spoon some of the food out of the jar into a separate bowl and feed him from that.
And then you can put the jar back in the fridge for a day, 2 days at most, and you don't have to worry about any bacteria.
So the answer is no. Don't feed him from a jar. No!
Keep the lid tight, make sure it's not loose. Jones might be thirsty each day. How much juice?
Maybe a couple ounces, I guess? Not too much? I have to get this right. Should I do it?
Wait! It's a trick question. I just remembered. For older children, juice is fine, but for an infant like Jones, you shouldn't give Jones juice until he's at least a year old.
Are you sure?
I am. Go ahead.
No juice. The answer is none.
Hello, Elvis.
Niles Greenfield. I should have known you were behind this wild goose chase.
Daisy, are you ready for the order in which you should introduce solid foods to young Jones? Excellent. You should introduce a new type of solid food every 3 to 5 days, beginning with rice cereal. And then, 3 to 5 days later, you'll move Jones on to vegetables. Only one at a time, though, in case there's an allergic reaction. And then fruits, and then meats. Again, only one at a time.
Got it.
A word of caution. You should not feed him the rice cereal from a baby bottle, as it could cause him to choke. Instead, use a small bowl. Now, Daisy, you have 2 options for solid food. You could use store-bought baby food, or you could puree or mash your own. But keep this in mind. Should you decide to make your own at home, it should be fully cooked, and you shouldn't use any extra seasonings or salt. Jones doesn't need those things in his diet. You'll want the solid foods to be smooth enough that he doesn't choke, about the consistency of pudding. Now, Daisy, finally, one more thing. You do not need to heat or reheat solid foods, but should you decide to, or if that's what Jones prefers, you can warm the container under running hot water, or place the food in a heat-safe dish and set the dish over a small pan of simmering water. That's the best way to do it.
So, I shouldn't use the microwave, even if the directions on the baby food tell me to?
No. The microwave heats unevenly, and hot spots in the food could burn your baby's mouth.
So what do we do now?
You need to go home. Here, take my car.
But what about you?
Give my regards to Jones. I've got something I need to take care of.
We hope you enjoyed the adventure and hope you learned something too. Now enjoy other videos and games in this section that will teach you even more about feeding your older infant.